Hello, this is a brief introduction to the Future Fit Business Benchmark, an open source initiative co-led by the Natural Step Canada and 3D Investment Foundation. The benchmark is a new tool to measure how companies are contributing to or undermining progress toward a flourishing future. As a species, we can flourish only if the Earth can support our needs. And over the past century, we've created a highly complex and interdependent global economic system to meet those needs. But unfortunately, this economic system isn't working as it should. In fact, the way we do business is broken in two key respects. First, we're failing to ensure the well-being of hundreds of millions of people around the world. And second, we're degrading the planetary services upon which we and all life depend: clean air, fresh water, stable climate, and so on. As a result, we're facing a range of global crises, from growing inequality to more extreme weather events. To get things back on track, we need to find new ways of doing business. Every company, no matter its sector or size, needs to do its part. The good news is that there is growing awareness in the business world that things need to change. The bad news is that there's a huge gap between awareness and action. Most CEOs seem to believe that all they need to do is gradually reduce the negative impacts of their current business models, and few investors are challenging this notion. But given the urgency and scale of the problems we as a society face, being less bad simply is not good enough. So how much is enough when it comes to the environmental and social performance of a company? How would we know a truly sustainable company if we saw one? And can we tell how far away any company is from where it needs to be? These sound like obvious questions to ask, but until now there's been no obvious answer. To see why, let's look at how environmental and social performance is typically measured today. Three types of benchmark are used. First, performance is assessed relative to a baseline year. For example, we've reduced our water use by 50% since 1990. Okay, but what does that really tell us? How bad were you in 1990? Second, companies measure their performance relative to goals they have set themselves. For example, we will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 20% in the next 5 years. Okay, but how bad were you to start with, and how did you come up with that specific target? And third, performance is compared to other companies. This is where ratings focus, the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, for example. The problem is that their emphasis is on current best practice rather than tomorrow's necessary practice. So ratings end up being distorted, with even relatively poor performers getting scores of 70 or 80% just by being better than their peers. All three benchmarks reward incremental improvement. This lulls decision makers into believing that simply doing better than last year or better than the next guy is enough. That's why we need a new kind of benchmark. Rather than merely focusing on today's best practice, we must measure the gap between where business is now and where it needs to be. We need a benchmark grounded in a scientific understanding of how the world works. It should identify the breakthrough point beyond which a company stops exacerbating global problems and starts delivering positive societal value to help solve them. Ultimately, it must serve as a North Star for companies to inspire completely new ways of doing business. That's what the Future Fit Business Benchmark is all about. Using best available science, we've developed a set of 28 goals across 9 areas of business activity. Companies will only be truly fit for the future when they reach the required level of performance across all 28 goals. You can find out more about the goals and how we derive them at futurefitbusiness.org. The benchmark is published under a Creative Commons license and will always be free to use. It's a work in progress, and we welcome all feedback and any offers to help complete what we've started. Take a look and let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.